In the beginning, when I moved in with my son Shonder, I was downsizing from 11.5 acres out in the middle of nowhere. And this is what I inherited. It was a yard that really couldn't grow grass. And we also got a dog named Shadow, who was a yard destroyer. She loved to dig holes. She loved to dig outside the fence, so I had to put logs along the fence so that she couldn't move them. But this is basically what the yard became. And the first thing I did was build a fire pit, because everybody needs a fire pit in their backyard, just so that they can sit around and talk. And the second thing I did was start tearing out the grass and build a water fountain. And as any good planter knows, you buy the plants small and they have to mature to get to be the size you want them. So at the same time, I was also buying clearance plants at Lowe's and Fred Meyer, wherever I could find something that looked half dead that I knew I could revive. But eventually, I would rip out every last bit of grass from this yard. I was fortunate because we lived next door to a vacant lot that can't be built upon because of erosion. So I was able to throw all the sod over the fence, and it helped to stop the erosion of my son's property. But all this grass will eventually come out, and I did it all. So, you have to have pathways. And I tried to observe where the dog liked to walk, because why would you build a pathway anyplace else? That's the one that's going to be beaten down the most. So, with that in mind, I started planting the plants. I built this homemade fountain, which I have done many fountains before. And that was the start. And I had to line certain plants with brick so that the dog would not dig them up, which on occasion she did. But as you can see, these plants are very, very small. And over the course of the past 9 years we're going on now, I have got a forest. And all I did was give them some attention, and they loved it. Now this, I took out the fountain because we wanted a pond, or we wanted a big fountain that you could put a bird bath in. And so I started out, the soil is very sandy, so I had to clear it of grass and everything around it, do my measurements, truck in gravel. I had to build a retaining wall because, once again, the yard is not level, and so I had to truck in the gravel, and something had to hold the gravel. So it's all of about a 2-foot difference. And then I had to put in very large cement, I don't know what you'd call them, steps, but they were like 18 inches by 18 inches. And I had to put 4 of those in the middle because eventually my son said he wanted to move up to a cement bird bath. So I needed something that was going to withstand that weight. And of course there was a lot of wetting down, tamping down, and where you see that rain barrel, I actually ran hose to there and buried it in PVC pipe so I would have a water source out here. And these are Allen blocks, and they're especially made for doing a curved fountain or curved pond. And as you can see, it's progressing nicely. The plants are getting larger. And I put a faucet in the rain barrel so that I could turn it on and off right at the barrel. And this is over the course of many years of planting. The pond has pickerel weed in it, or I'm sorry, the fountain. I do have a pond, and I keep calling this a pond, but it's not. It's the fountain. And this year my project has been to put down brick. My son decided that he wanted all of the pathways that I had created done in brick. And if you've ever done brick in a circle, you know it's not easy. I still have leveling to do, but I want it to settle, and then they will be cemented into place. And this is just one of the pond lilies, or one of the fountain lilies. I got those at Lowe's, $14.95, and they aren't planted in dirt. They are just submerged in water and weighted down with a rock. And they bloom every year. And normally I have water hyacinth in there as well. But there's some cattails that we picked up off the side of the road. There's some pickerel weed. There's some water iris. And this is about the end of June this year. The daisies came out. I've got lilies that are blooming. The bush that's all pink in the foreground is lavatera. There's jasmine growing on the posts of the pergola. And it has been an 8-9 year project. And as you can see, I've gotten the brick down. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.